When you think of the Netherlands, you think of water. Throughout its history, the country has been under constant threat of water, because 2/3 of the Dutch population live below sea level. Over 50 years ago, the country was struck by a disaster that eventually gave an enormous impulse to the fight against the water. In 1953, the coastal province of Zeeland was flooded, causing the death of over 1,800 people. To prevent this from happening again, the Delta Plan was developed to protect the people in the Delta area. The last part of this plan is a huge storm surge barrier near the city of Rotterdam.
This is the Maaslandkering. It's a storm surge barrier that protects the Rotterdam harbour and the hinterland from storm surges from the sea.
When the Maasland barrier was built in the 1990s, calculations were that the barrier would close about once in every 10 years. Yet, due to the changing climate, these calculations have become outdated.
We have to deal with the effects of climate change. And in fact, this storm surge barrier is ready for that. The only thing that will happen in the first 50 or 60 years will be that it will be closing much more often.
So for the time being, the city of Rotterdam is protected against higher sea levels. But climate change brings along other challenges, such as unpredictable rainfall.
We are, as we call it, a delta city. So we have to invest in measures to try to anticipate sea level rise, but also for the changing of the river levels. But at the same time, we have a large urban area, so we have to anticipate on the increase of rainfall.
One of the projects of the city of Rotterdam is the so-called Green Roof program. It gives people subsidies to put plants and other vegetations on their roof.
With this more or less innovative solution, we can arrange the needed water storage capacity. And especially in the denser part of the city, we do not have enough space to develop more lakes and ponds or canals. So we need other solutions. And the green roof is one of these solutions.
Further upstream, you can find a striking example of the inventive way the Dutch have learned to live with and even on the water. Here in Maasbommel, 46 houses have been built that start floating when the water rises.
We are now under the house, and this part is floating. It is completely free. It is built on pillars, so that there is no way that it can move. And when the water is rising, and by 2.20 meters, then the house is floating, and that's about here.
And there are even concrete plans for building an entire floating city.
DeltaSync has developed a floating city concept, which means that we are designing and developing a city on the water. This means that the city is completely flexible and adapts to higher and lower water levels.
DeltaSync sees huge potential for this concept.
Well, the Netherlands is not the only vulnerable delta in the world. Many world cities are located along the coast. And it's estimated that in 2030, half of the population will live within 100 kilometers from the coast, which means that more and more people are moving towards the coast. So I think that this concept has major potential also for other delta areas all over the world.
And that is exactly what the Dutch government wants to achieve.
The Dutch have a lot of expertise to combat rising sea level, and therefore we have also a lot of expertise that we can offer to other countries and help them solve the climate adaptation problems.
And isn't that the ultimate way to turn disaster into opportunity?